There, no it is, it's calling down.
Okay. Shoot. I feel like we should start all over. Let me just, it won't take long to recap. My congratulations for trying to improve your drawing skills because it does take a lot of courage. If you didn't get it the first time, now you, you get the idea that I really appreciate you being here. My name is Gail Suess-Brandow, by the way, and Rhonda even said it right. It doesn't look like that if you see it spelled. But anyway, so we are here together 4 nights, an hour each night. So in only 4 hours, we're just scratching the surface. We will not come away with finished drawings at the end of it. I hope that you will practice with me. I've done these exercises while teaching dozens, if not hundreds of times, and I still think it's useful to me to improve my own skills as we do these things together. And the same is true for musicians. They always keep playing the scales and practicing, even though they may be really quite good. And I know some of you have taken lots of my classes, and I know that your skill levels are more than just beginner. But again, I hope that you will just gain something from the class that you didn't know before. I want to point out to you my fashion statement here, like my new bracelet. This is a reminder to tell you that next week you might want some tape. The week after that you will need some tape. So try to join me in my setting a trend here and get some tape to bring in next time. And that way you won't have to wait while we pass around the tape from the library. Doug?
You give me some hope. If I take these skills home at the end of these classes, will I be able to use them and produce drawings?
If you practice these skills on your own time, the more you practice, the better you will get. Yes. Yes. And I hope you will see dramatic improvement just from now until 4 hours hence at the end of the class. And to that end, I'm going to start you out with what's called a pre-instruction drawing. This is just a yardstick measure. I want you on that paper in front of you to please draw your hand. Draw a hand. Give yourself a hand. You may not trace it. That is the default mode, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Do not trace, just draw your hand. I'll give you about 5 minutes to do so.
Do you want help handing them out?
Sure. I look at the originals, I should. Okay, if you didn't finish, that's okay. I would always rather have you not finish than rush through it and be sitting here twiddling your thumbs. One of the keys to good drawing is to take your time. My husband asked me an interesting question on the way here tonight. By the way, that's him right in the middle, Doug. He's my transportation here, so it's really good that he could join us. He asked on the way here, which would be better to draw a searching, shaky line and strive for perfection, or a fast, bold line. Did I get that right, Doug?
A fast, bold line taking risks, or a shaky line trying to achieve perfection.
Fast, bold line taking risks, or a shaky line trying to reach perfection. And I answered probably in a way that surprised him, because I think he thought I would go for the bold, risk-taking line. But I said no, actually, the shaky, slow line, because it's not about speed. It's not about being bold. I mean, just by drawing, you are taking a risk. So either one is taking a risk. I would prefer that you go slowly. Okay, to that end, I have one more pre-instruction drawing for you. You can draw on the back or a new paper, either is fine. I want you to draw a self-portrait. Just draw you. I'm not going to collect these. We don't have to label them with your name, so nobody will ever know that it was supposed to be you. It is a tough one. The back or a new paper, either one is fine. Ideally, Suze, but
You have to make it human-like, because I haven't drew anything human.
just give it your best shot. Now, I have already noticed one thing that is working against you, and that is a shaky, now here I said shaky line was preferable, but a feathery line like this is not so good. If you could make a singular line, even if it shakes a little bit, a singular line rather than the feathery searching line, your drawing will get stronger. So try to do more of this and less of this. Okay? So we're going to do this, not this. And that is instruction, so your drawing is already not entirely pre-instruction. I do too. But I also like to draw people. But people are definitely hard. I think it's important to acknowledge the difficulty of what you're trying to do. And then say, don't be afraid. That's right, just do it. Good motto. About one more minute, and again, if you don't finish, don't worry about it. Just give you another minute to wrap it up.
I was thinking like animator. Like a tree branch. I live in the wilds. I'm a tree hugger. I was thinking of doing that. And some branches coming out. I'm sorry. Some big tree lady stomping down the road.
Okay, so again, if you did not finish, good job. If you finished a long time ago, maybe not such a good job. Try to slow it down, okay? It's real important. And the reason for that is because, well, let me start first by talking about this book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. This is the Bible of drawing. It really contains the secrets to good drawing skills, and if you have the time, get this book through interlibrary loan and read it like it is the Bible, okay? Because it's really important, really has all sorts of ideas for how to improve your drawing. We will be using many of the principles in this book throughout this class, okay? But drawing on the right side of the brain is wanting you to draw using your creative side. The right side of the brain is the creative, artistic side. The left side of the brain is the side that's used in school primarily. Okay, school is very left brain. It's step-by-step, analytical, sequential learning. And that works with school, does not work so much with creativity. So the principles that we'll be going through in this class are right brain drawing. And one thing that your right brain loves is complexity. So I give you a challenging task like draw yourself, okay? Because your right brain, even though it might be difficult and you might be kind of resisting it because it's hard, it still is a good exercise for your right brain, okay? And also the right brain loses track of time, tends to go slower and really study things in detail. And I see some of you shaking your head because you've lost track of time when you're drawing before. I lose track of time when I play the piano. It's the same thing. It's getting into a right brain mode. Okay, I passed out the glossary while you were drawing and Rhonda helped. And this is left brain. We're going to switch over into our left brain mode for a minute because this is very wordy. Words, language is a left brain skill primarily. So I want to go through this glossary and maybe have you circle some of the things which are the key words Read over the whole glossary on your own, but I'm going to accentuate the ones that I want to make sure you know. Composition. So if you want to circle composition. And then contour line. We'll be doing some contour line drawings in this class, and we'll talk more about what that means at the time. You don't have to have all these memorized by next week, okay? But keep your glossary handy, because then you can refer to it if you can't quite remember what a word means. And some of the words we're skipping over are important too. Edge, the place where two things meet, where the sky meets the ground, that's also the horizon line. The shape of separation between two shapes, or a shape and a space. Okay, so edge, where things butt up against each other. We'll be using that principle a lot. Expressive quality, holistic, left hemisphere, and again, it says for most right-handed individuals and a large proportion of left-handed individuals, verbal functions are in the left hemisphere. We're using our left brains right now as you're listening, processing analytically, circling words in the verbal mode. That's L mode. Circle L mode. Negative spaces. Our last night of class will be working especially with negative spaces. That was a radical concept to me as a young drawing student years ago. Perception, and that's the key word for tonight. Perception, the awareness or process of becoming aware of objects, relations, or qualities, either internal or external to the individual by means of the senses and under the influence of previous experiences. Wow, that's a very wordy title for basically how you see things. Okay, so perception, how you see things, or internalizing them or externalizing them. It's a process of awareness, process of becoming aware. So that's key to what we're going to talk about next. So maybe put a star by that one. Then picture plane. We'll be drawing on a picture plane. You already did some of that on your paper. Right hemisphere. This is the creativity side. The right side of your brain, spatial relational functions are in the right hemisphere, and drawing is about space and relationship. So that would be the R mode. We want to be able to shift into our R mode, and that becomes more easy with practice. Becomes easier with practice. And I think that's, did I get all 4 pages? I feel like I missed one. Oh, okay, that's it. All right. Yeah, and you might need that picture. So you won't need it tonight, but keep that. Make sure you bring this glossary with you next week, because you might need that horse and rider picture. Okay? Okay, so what is perception? Who can tell me what is a perception?
You see things.
How you see things or experience them, your awareness thereof. Okay, I want to go over with you the 5 basic skills of drawing. And you can list them if you want. It would be a good idea on a paper, maybe, even though that is putting you into your left mode. Your left mode, responsible for book learning. There's a certain amount of that that's necessary. Also, memory and verbalizing things is the way our brains are used to learning, because you started that in kindergarten, and it's an effective way. Even though we want to be able to shift more easily into the underused right brain, we'll start with some left brain talking about the 5 basic skills of drawing. Okay, number 1, perception of edges. An edge was one of the words that we went over in the glossary, where one thing butts up against each other. So the perception of edges. The more clearly you see edges, the better your drawing will be. Then the perception of spaces. You could put /shapes, spaces /shapes. When I was 4 years old, I asked my dad how to draw, and he said, just copy the shapes. That was it, in a nutshell, copy the shapes. And he showed me how to do so. I had a little Sunday school paper, and he showed me how to copy the shapes of Mary holding Jesus, and it actually looked like a person, and I was so amazed that it really was just about copying the shapes. So perception of shape or space, then the perception of relationships, seeing the relationship between things, perception of relationships. Then the perception of lights and shadows. Another word for that is value. Lights and shadows or shading is value study. We won't be doing a lot of that in this class just because it's too short. If y'all want an advanced class at the end of this, we can talk about that, and maybe I can come back in a few months and do another one. So, because that's really fun to shade and draw things with light and shadow. So perception of lights and shadows is number 4. Number 5, perception of the whole. The whole thing. The whole. Perception of the whole. And the fancy word for that is gestalt. Gestalt. Gestalt means to see the whole thing. To pull it all together. Gestalt. Kind of. Yeah. Perception of the whole. And if you can master those 5 things, you will be good at drawing. Now, what's the interesting thing about these perceptual skills? And I'm saying if you master these perceptual skills, you'll be good at drawing. What have you not done? Yes?
All of those.
All of those. I bet you have in some form. But what also have you not done? Light and shadow. Yes.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, anytime. You don't have to ask my permission. But hurry back because you'll miss something. So what here? You not done. Have not touched a pencil to a paper. Right? And I'm saying if you can master all these perceptual skills, you'll be better at drawing, but you haven't even lifted a pencil. That's okay, because it really is about seeing. I always tell my drawing students, your main drawing tool is your eye. Okay, keep that in mind. It's about training your eye. It's not about training your hand. The skills of the hand come and go. It really happens up here in your noggin when you're looking at things. So really, you're training your eye, not your hand. And that's kind of good news for me because as I've gotten older, I've gotten shakier. My hand is not as strong. My eye is still sharp. Maybe my vision might not be as good as it used to be either, but to see things is what we're after. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now we're going to try our first, I just have to check my list to make sure I haven't missed anything here. Okay. Now my lefties are going to get a different copy than my righties for you and her and the young lady that went to the bathroom.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Here we have non-objective art and negative space and such. Will you be showing us examples of those?
Non-objective art, not so much. That's just things like a Kandinsky painting. But negative space, yes. We'll be dealing a lot with negative space. Yeah. Okay. I'll start. Okay, this is called the vase space exercise. And don't start till I go over what I want you to do here. I've had probably a few more years' experience. Oh, I'm sorry. Going to give you that. Go slow.
So it's in the face, or?
These are right, yeah.
Yes.
Just one more.
She said, is it a vase or a face? And the answer is yes. It is currently a face, but you are going to make it into a vase by slowly, in capital letters, repeating the shape on the other side, coming in. This comes down, so this line over here comes down, and then you curve it in. Now, this angle is not matching this angle. See, I did that on purpose. Hope you can see this okay. You want to bring it in. Now that angle is too sharp, okay? If you want to use an eraser, you may. This is called a kneaded eraser. You can use one of these if you want. There are a few in the box on the counter, but the pencil eraser works just fine. And again, remember I showed you to try to work for more of this kind of a line than this feathery, searchy line. Take your time. Got plenty of time for this. And it helps to use your other hand and bring the hands together. If you follow the line, that will help you perceive where the line is going. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You might be appalled at mine. You know, that's okay. And it turns and goes slow. It comes down almost straight. Whoops, turned too soon. And the line on the bottom, you're not going to go that far over. I went not quite far enough. It needs to come in a little more. But it does not go all the way out to the end of, does not go all the way out to the end of this line. Pull your hands together, tracing it down on the one line, and then that will help you see it go off.
That really helps kind of coordinate the.
Yep, it's training your right brain. It's training your spatial awareness. Because remember, perception of space and shape is one of the 5 basic skills. This is a good technique. What is your name? What's your name? Cindy? Cindy has a good technique over here. She's using another blank piece of paper and kind of covering up part of her drawing up above where she's drawing. And that does two things. It limits your field of vision so you're not overwhelmed with too much information at once. And it also helps you to measure those spatial relationships. Really good, that girl. Yeah, I said it doesn't come over all the way here. And it's gonna put it down. There's a wonderful curve right there. Yeah, it does. It's a graceful.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's the old structure.
Yes.
The bottom of the saucer has a gentle curve.
Yeah.
Into,
Yeah. I'm checking.
I've been tracking since September 8th, 66.
Wow.
First episode.
Wow.
And I wasn't even born yet.
Are we supposed to be fixing it if it's not right?
You can if you want. You don't have to. I'm just about to stop everybody anyway and tell you once again, if you did not finish, good for taking your time. Really work on slowing down, okay? Speed is not your friend when it comes to drawing, in most cases. There are exceptions to that when we're talking about expressive drawing, but this is more trying to get more accurate. At least I'm assuming that's your aim as well as mine for this class. It's not about doing a very expressive drawing as much as it is about growing your skills to be more accurate. So to that end, you want to be slow. Okay, I have another exercise for you. We're going very fast. We're going to probably finish a little early and have time to read our glossary. By the way, I have another book I wanted to show you. I showed you Betty Edwards' Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and I think, yeah, that's on, oh, I know, we've got to do that yet. Drawing on the Artist Within was her follow-up volume, and this has some color in it. We won't be using color at all in this class, but after you work your way through Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, there is Drawing on the Artist Within, also by Betty Edwards, and this is the new international version. Not quite yet. Just looking over it. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do, this is kind of fun. We're going to do another vase face. So draw a line across the top and the line on the bottom on a new piece of paper. And then what you're going to do is not do that simple, graceful, elegant profile. You're going to do a hairy, warty, kind of bizarre profile. This person has a wart on their nose, dripping booger, some teeth, more lower teeth. A bump on their chin. And a double chin. Make a grotesque profile, sort of like that, and then do the same thing that you did before, copy it on the other side. It will be more difficult. Remember, your right brain loves complexity. So just go with, if you can feel that stretch in your brain when you're doing it, that's a good feeling. That means you're forming new neural pathways. So make a grotesque profile like this, warts, bumps, drips, fangs, and all. And then copy it on the other side. And again, use your hand, your left hand, or your right if you're a lefty, to trace those lines in reverse. Bye.
I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. What's that?
My right side of my brain will rebel against this. It's already got me worried.
Good complex monster.
I kind of want to mirror what this is and draw versus the, if I look at this too hard, then my hand does.
Right, that's normal, that's normal. This is really to stretch your brain and challenge you.
Yeah, but look at that, think about it.
Yeah.
easier than the first one.
You think so? Huh.
Yeah.
Quit telling yourself that. Yeah, there's not. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, good job, guys. Now that your brain has had a little workout,
Brain strain.
yeah, we're gonna go over the typical left and right brain characteristics. And the first thing you'll notice on the page that we just passed out is that there is a block, plain L, and swirly cursive, flowery artistic R. That's to help you remember which is which. The left brain, L mode, is the school side. This is a flowery, freewheeling, creative side. Okay, and let's just go down that list together a couple minutes. First of all, the L left brain mode is verbal, whereas the right brain mode is nonverbal. And that's why when you might have noticed when you were given the time to draw those things, the room fell silent for the most part. I mean, a little whispering here and there, but it was pretty much silent because your right brain is taking over and you shift into the nonverbal mode, okay? The left brain figures things out step by step and part by part. That's the analytic versus the synthetic, which is putting things together to form wholes. Does anybody remember the G word for perception of the whole? Gestalt. Yep, thank you. Symbolic, the left brain. Now here is where you get this. That is a symbol. That is not a person. Okay, that's a stick figure, but symbolic, that's left brain. That is not how you draw if you're wanting to build your drawing skills. It works fine for explaining things in diagrams, but the R mode is the actual real relating to things as they are at the present moment. Okay, symbols, the symbol language form gets in the way. And you will see that too with people will have a vase of flowers in front of them and they'll inevitably do something like this. Right? That's a symbol for a flower. Here's another one. What's that? That's not what a cloud looks like, even on the best of days. How about this? Tree. Maybe not. How about this? Pine tree or mountain. You can see it either way. If you put this on there, then you got a mountain. Or a Christmas tree. Yeah, you can have, there's your Christmas tree. Okay, so those are left brain. That's not going to help your drawing any. Abstract, to take a small bit of information and use it to represent the whole thing. Is that not what we're doing with that little stick figure? Okay. Analogic sees likenesses and understands metaphoric relationships. This is when you get so you can actually draw a good portrait. You're seeing metaphoric relationship rather than a little bit of information trying to make it represent the whole thing. Temporal. This is very important. Keeping track of time is left brain. That is my job for this class, and it is the hardest thing for me to do because I'm a very right brain person. I have to keep looking over there at that clock and seeing. Try not to look at the clock in here. I promised I will get you out on time, and if I fail, Rhonda or next week my sister Amy will remind me that it is time to stop. So anyway, temporal, keeping track of time, sequencing one thing first things first, second things second, and so on. That is left brain. The right brain loses track of time. Okay, rational. Drawing conclusions based on reason and fact is left brain, whereas the non-rational, not requiring a basis of reason or facts, is willing to suspend judgment. That's very important. People tend to judge their drawings. You might say, oh, I'm not very good at this. Look at this. This is bad. This is not right. No, that's left brain. Stop it. Just stop it, okay? That doesn't help you get better at drawing. That's counterproductive. So, enough of the sermon for tonight. Digital, using numbers or counting, is a left brain function. Spatial sees things in relation to other things and how the parts together form the whole thing, the gestalt. Logical is left brain, drawing conclusions based on logic, mathematical theorem. Here's something. What's 1 and 1? In the left brain mode, 1 and 1 is 2. In the right brain mode, 1 and 1 is 11. Or I like to give you this mathematical equation. 1 plus purple equals love. Okay? That's not in any of your math theorems, is it? Okay, that's a right brain concept. All right, you get the picture? 11, not 2. Okay, spatial, we did that. Okay, mathematical theorems threw me off. Intuitive. Rather than logical, the right brain is intuitive, making leaps of insight based on incomplete patterns, hunches, feelings, or visual images. Take the leap of faith when it comes to drawing. That's being intuitive. Okay, linear, one idea following another, often leading to convergent conclusions. Holistic sees the whole thing at once, perceives the overall pattern and structure, and leads to divergent conclusions. So you have this and this. That's left brain. Right brain is going to go like this. It is very hard for a right brain person to be a good teacher. It takes major act of the will to get some of this to come out of some of this. So, just an aside. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left in my left brain mode, during which you can review your glossary a minute, look at some of those terms, and ask me any questions that you want to ask. Yes?
My brain doesn't work like
It doesn't work
that.
like what?
It also works like one brain is the same and the other is the same, so it's just like they're both.
Well, with practice, anything is possible, right?
I guess so.
Have faith. Have the intuitive faith.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you think society looks at left brain people versus right brain people? Do you feel like one is more of the preferred?
Historically, the left brain has been the favored default operation. However, moving into the future, corporations are looking for more creative thinkers. They really are looking for people that have the skills to take them into the unknown future, and that requires creativity. So I would say it's shifting. Yeah, in fact, I just read a book called The World is Flat. It's an old book by Thomas Frieden, but he has a whole chapter about right brain thinking. And it's because, you know, it's the wave of the future. So.
Do we have any homework?
Read through the glossary
Okay.
and come with your fashion statement next week.
Actually, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes, thank you, 2 weeks. We don't meet next week. We meet again on September 26th. And then we'll be 2 weeks in a row, and then we take another week off for things to settle in. Yes, Doug?
If we get tempted to doodle, what's a good thing to do? To draw.
copy the shapes.
You just look at shapes and not.
Yes, yeah. Good question. Yes, Susie?
Are we gonna be trying to move with our left hands? We normally do that, right?
I hadn't thought of that, but that might be a good thing if we have any time. That'd be a good filler activity, yeah. Yeah, Susie is suggesting some left-hand drawing if you're a righty and right-hand drawing if you're a lefty. Your non-dominant hand drawing. Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci was a pro at that.
I'm so used to the.
Yeah, and we will be doing some upside down drawing, so.
My dad's signature was just as pretty as either hand.
Wow,
I think it was just the error, he was right, his penmanship was so important.
that's a gift. Okay, don't forget to bring your glossary back next week. Have a wonderful 2 weeks from now, not next week, 2 weeks, on the 26th. Thank you for coming.